this is done. Um, Removed all this heavy mass here. We still have the sense of looking over a bit of a hill into a bit of a gully that has maybe some different ground cover. And then off we go. I'm happy with it. I have this tendency sometimes to think, oh, we need more content, you know, more content here, more content there. No, just supportive information. That's plenty. You know, we practically have, you know, 1, 2, 3 planes, but really we practically only have 2 planes. I've tried to disappear this a little bit. Not completely. You know, wanted that hint of a distant ridge to be sort of remaining. So, colors. I'm pretty sure I went through all the colors in the video where I was actually painting this guy. Okay? In short, hints of hints of ultramarine blue here and here. This is it's almost disappeared here, but we've left a little there. Almost immediately going into cobalt blue, alizarin crimson, yellow ochre, and white. That's it for my sky colors. The colors didn't change when I went into these. I just changed what the proportion of each of the colors that went into the mix. You know, I'm still using cobalt blue here. Cobalt blue, a little bit of alizarin crimson. Maybe a hint of ultramarine blue. I don't think so. I think this is all cobalt blue and white. Coming down into here, cobalt blue. Bringing in yellow ochre and a bit of white, but still alizarin crimson. This looks a bit greenish, but then it's adjacent to all this purple. So cobalt blue was my blue in the sky, and on the let's for the sake of the argument call this all one plane back here. So cobalt blue is really the only blue that I used up here, with the exception of a hint of ultramarine there. And okay, the second plane. All of the greens in the second plane. It's actually kind of amazing how few colors have been used in the painting. But the only other green, or the only other blue that I've used in the rest of the painting has been ultramarine blue. No cobalt blue in the foreground whatsoever. Ultramarine blue, burnt sienna. The trunk, mostly burnt sienna. A hint of ultramarine blue. Here too, going heavily into the burnt sienna here. Laying off the burnt sienna, going more towards the yellow ochre and blue here. Same here. All of the green. The rocks. That bedrock. Ultramarine blue. Heavy on the raw umber. Very little ultramarine blue up here. Very little alizarin crimson. The rocks, the rocks are raw umber, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson. A hint of burnt sienna, just almost unmentionable, and not worthy of mention. Okay, so here, a little more ultramarine blue, going more towards the raw umber here, and white of course, just hints of it. We come into the reds, we introduce a little bit of alizarin crimson into this band of rock, and here, warm it up a little bit, put a little more light on there. Here we've got also a little alizarin crimson along with our raw umber and ultramarine blue mix, but very little, almost unnoticeable. It's those subtleties that make a difference, you know. You almost can't see the difference unless you lay the two next to each other, but they're there. Once the whole painting comes together, you might not even notice that those colors vary quite a bit until you scrutinize it. But when you back away from the painting, you will get a feeling of a richer painting than if you never did it at all, you know, if you simplified things too much. So that's it for colors. Really simple, you know? The whole palette. Cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, white. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 colors? 6 colors? I don't know. I can't count. Anyway, I'll do a quick zoom here. Oh no, there. This other one that I was originally going to use as the base for this painting. Now that's gonna be the next one. And I don't know if it's gonna be a vertical or a horizontal. I have not decided yet. But that's gonna come very soon. All right, I'll do a little zoomy. A little poke around, a little walk around the mall. Right into the mess. Right into that spot that's pretty much dead center of the painting. Terrible idea, eh? Dead center of the painting. However, why it works is because we have so much strength on the left, very little strength on the right. So that tends to pull the focal area to the left a little bit. The drama, the focal point would, you could say it's there. But why stick with a point? Why not back up and say, well, actually, it's more of an area. I know that often the way that I use light creates a bit of a romantic notion to the scene. I like it. I like that feel. See? Bit of a mess. It's a controlled mess. And while you're painting it, it feels sometimes like it's a little bit out of control, but the idea is to pull it all together and end up with something cohesive and coherent. I may still put a stroke on there or not. I don't think it needs it, but I might change my opinion after living with it upstairs in my living room for a little while. We'll see how it goes. See you soon.